year 2020 has been quite eventful. I mean, we're September already, and a number of things have happened already. But the one I really want to emphasize is the sickle cell awareness, which is particular to this month. So June 19th is actually the sickle cell day. However, September, the whole month, is dedicated to the sickle cell awareness. So that is precisely what I wanted to join me in discussing. Let us talk about what is it, how can it be managed, what are the things to know about it, both the warriors and all those who are around them. This is a very important topic, and I think you should all join me. I am Reverend Father Joseph Obada of the Archdiocese of Abuja, and this is Moments with PadreJoe. So a lot has been said about the sickle cell disease, and it has raised a number of controversies. It's more importantly, it raises a lot of emotions, and understandably so. I mean, why not? Which is why I think it's very important to have more discussions on it, more importantly, even from a bioethical point of view. So what is it? What is this sickle cell disease? So it's actually a group of disorder, part of a group of disorder that affects what we call hemoglobin. Now, that precisely it's a molecule in red blood cells. This hemoglobin is a molecule in red blood cells, and that delivers oxygen to the body, right? So we can't do without blood. The blood carries oxygen all through the body. So the little cells in that blood, the hemoglobin, there's a particular disorder with that particular hemoglobin that is referred to as the sickle cell. So here is how it works. The red blood cells are, normally round, in shape, soft and even squeezable. That's how it's supposed to be normally. However, with respect to sickle cell, it forms a C shape, thereby having some kind of pointed edges, which means it's no longer round, it is no longer, squeezable, it can no longer move around the capillaries, and I'm talking about the channel through which the blood flows in the body. And then it begins to clog, because it's having a different shape now, so it's no longer moving as it's supposed to be moving, it clogs. And then when that happens, of course, blood cannot get supplied to where it ought to, oxygen cannot get supplied to where it ought to, and then problem arises. This is when we talk about the crisis, the pain crisis that some of the sickle cell, patients get to suffer, amongst other things. Of course, you can't do without the blood, so I'm referring to the many other things that happen as a result of the improper flow of blood or the clogging. Now, the bone marrow, there's something called the bone marrow, right? It tries to make up for this loss. And when it's unable to do that, it's called anemia, which is where we get sickle cell anemia. So that C shape that I talked about is actually in the form of a sickle, which is where the name actually came from. So the sickle cell anemia. Now, this new sickle shape that we're talking about, that is usually formed as the disorder, makes it difficult for those who have this disorder, this blood disorder, to really have what is supposed to be the normal functioning of the body, especially at those times when they experience this, their pain crisis. So, how can you get it? It's simple. It has to be inherited. You don't get it from contact. You don't get it from any other way. It has to be inherited. And a way of detecting it is usually through blood tests, because of course it's a blood disorder, so it's going to require a blood test. And we have 4 major genotypes. So you have the AA, you have the AS, you have the SS, and you have one very uncommon one called the AC. Now, like I said, it's very uncommon. You hardly even hear about it. So, but these are the way the things work. Now, when you have this kind of condition, there are particular symptoms, right? So you have shortness of breath, you have dizziness, you have headaches, you have coldness of the hands and feet, jaundice. I'm talking about the pale skin, the yellowish color of the skin. You have sometimes memory loss. the point is, anything that can occur as a result of the improper flow of blood, which translates to improper supply of oxygen, anything that you can think of, it happens as a result of this sickle cell. And like I said, it's something you inherit. So it has to be the case that the parents have sickle cell traits, and we will get there. The traits mean the both are AS, which means there is a 1 in 4 chance that there's going to be an SS. So that's why I said it has to be inherited. It's not something you get just by association or by being in the same space with. Some sources actually argue that Nigeria might have the highest number of sickle cell patients in sub-Saharan Africa. In fact, some people have this erroneous kind of theory that it's an African disease. That's not true. It is true that there are more, but it's not true that it's only African. It's also important to talk about the fact that the life expectancy, it really varies. We can't be really sure depending on how it is managed. You can find people who are able to manage this maybe from early on with respect to their years, to their age. If they manage it well, they could actually live to very old age. So, knowing this, knowing that it's only inherited, knowing how it can be inherited, knowing what it is and the kind of trouble, pain, and all of those things it causes, I just hope we can get a better picture of this sickle cell disease. Now, I'm not in a good position to talk about how the pains are felt, how there's fatigue, the kind of stigma, the kind of issues that come from it, which is why it's important to hear from those we refer to as the sickle cell warriors, or even survivors, you might like to call them. And I've got very good friends to take care of that. Michael and Sussan are just some of them that will help us to really understand what we talk about when we talk about sickle cell. They are warriors themselves, and they will help us understand better how this plays out and the many things that they want us to know about it.
Let me take you on a journey of pain, sorrow, and tears. The story of a sickle cell child, right from birth. His fate sealed even before his first breath. The hospital is his permanent home, for he can't remember how many cannulas have passed through his vein. Sometimes he's on oxygen, other times he needs a blood transfusion. Bicycle riding, playing football, or table tennis becomes a spectator sport, for he's always confined in fear of when next he will be on the hospital roll call. Sometimes this patient cries and asks for death, cause the pain in his bones no words could truly tell. Warriors lost to unforeseen circumstances that could have so easily been foreseen if only the lovers were not blinded by their desires. Some of you might still not understand, for you do not know the pain of a sickle cell child. What is your genotype?
Wow. The pain. It's funny how we are laughing now, and when you actually feel the pain, you can't literally explain the pain you felt the last time you felt sick. And I mean, for me, and I'm sure also for you, when you're in crisis, it's like every other thing does not matter.
Right.
Even if the world wants to go to war, if it's going to cure my pain at that moment, it should go ahead. So as in, man.
Yeah, the pain is unexplainable, excruciating, like the word. And how will I put it? In 2018, I said my last prayer twice. Like,
wow.
Having to feel such pain, and then people go to sleep, and then you lie, you see 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m. till 7 a.m. and you're still in pain. It's crazy. But one thing that I understand is that after the episode and you're out of the pain, You can't even explain what happened then. It just goes away, and then it's like you're waiting for something else. So it's crazy.
When you can't explain the pain, yeah, you feel better. You can't explain the pain. Probably maybe have 3-4 weeks of freedom, pain-free weeks, and then when it comes back, you just say, "Aha, it's back." Like you can literally then remember that. Oh, okay.
This is what it feels like.
Okay. Then I knew that I was not. If I had raised my hand in a way, the hand feels hook.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. Sometimes you could even like stay this way, and you're sitting, your leg is clogged. Please just try to release it for a while, because you might just put it down and then you're feeling pains. And let's talk of fatigue. Come on,
man.
You have a whole lot of things to do. Like I'm a model, so I want to go for castings, I want to go for shoots and the rest. And these things come with stress, you know. And life in general comes with stress. So you go for these things, and the next thing you're super tired. You can't even continue. The fatigue is it. So I know they say try not to do things that are stressful, but come on, we have dreams, we have things we want to go out to do, we want to be like other people, we want to also impact. But it's kind of, how would I say, it's a challenge, but it's not restricting. It's not restricting in the sense that if you know your left and your right, you can be able to tell what I should do at this point and what I shouldn't do at this point. So the fatigue is crazy, but at some point you have to get used to it. I mean, you just have to get used to it. I don't know what you mean, like when they say getting used to it.
Sometimes, yeah. I think one of the words we have overheard and that is beginning to sound irritating is you need to rest. Stop stressing yourself. Now, literally, okay, this year alone with the lockdown and everything, I literally shut down my business just to rest. And I mean, I've been in the hospital about 4 times this year while, in quotes, resting. Being alive as a sickle cell warrior, you are literally living below par, first and foremost. You're living in a society where you are not anything until you achieve something.
Exactly.
Now, I'm trying to shift a bit to the career part of the struggle, whereas, I mean, I'm doing certain jobs with certain people who do not know my health condition, and most times I have to work in pain. Yeah, I have to work in pain. I have to communicate with people in so much pain that literally I walk around with injections in my bag. Yeah. Now, situations like this, and when they now find out your health condition, you see them pulling away from you. You understand? So,
stigmatization.
I mean, you're a model, you do runway stuff. I also, of course, I've done a couple of shoots and runway jobs. And the most embarrassing part of this is, you know, when you're sick on the runway or you're in crisis and serious pain, everybody tends to be pitying you. Don't go and do this one now before you die. Or don't go and do this now before you fall down and collapse. Please, I don't have the strength to take you to hospital. And that's literally where your business with these people end, because they would never call you back. You are leaving the house in the morning and you're out of the house. I've not fallen sick since. Miracle. By the time you get home,
you're going to fall sick.
You would
speaking of dreams, last year I contested for Miss Nigeria competition. Going into that competition was like a great deal, because I know how stressful it is.
Miss Nigeria is a very, very big deal.
So going into the contest, so many things came to my mind. Things like, okay, the stress, hope you can cope and the rest. But speaking to my mind, I told myself that I'm going to this contest because I want to use this platform to support other sickle cell warriors and then inspire them. So that is actually my goal, and I kept that in front of me. But my family around me, my mom especially, hope you can do this, it's stressful and the rest. I went for it, and trust me, like I think 3 days to the grand finale, like I almost gave up.
Wow.
I was in like terrible pains. I just stayed in my hotel room and I cried my out.
Wow.
And I was almost calling the chaperone of the camp, like, please, like, call me out. I need to go. I'm over. But I remember that I went into this and a lot of people supported me, both warriors and the rest, to come into this camp. And imagine they hear that I gave up. Well, my goal, which is to inspire these people, will go to waste.
Of course.
So I had to fight. And I said, okay, I think this is just like, I call it, what they call lying vanities of the devil. Well, this is just a way to make me feel like I can't do this. Though I did not win, I came out with the title.
Yeah.
Till today, so many warriors like DM me, I love your strength, I want you to inspire me, I want you to motivate me and the rest. That was my goal, and even though I didn't achieve it the way I pictured it, but the fact that there was something ahead, I was able to get to where I got to. So, well, even if we want to sensitize the public about sickle cell and all that it entails, we also have to sensitize warriors. How do you see yourself? How do you present yourself to the public? Though I could see this one, people don't even know what's up until I see it.
Exactly.
So how do you present yourself? I understand that there's pain, there's fatigue, there's a whole lot going on. You fall sick often, but what do? How do you present yourself? What do you tell your mind? There's positive, there's negative. What do you want to come in and what do you want to go out? You're totally in charge of your mind.
Yeah.
So you decide, do I want positivity all the time, or do I want to always have negative people around me?
Negative thoughts.
So basically, that's what has been keeping me going so far, because I used to be in a shell and under the shadows of sickle cell. So once I just think sick, I fall sick.
Straight up.
So once I just go out and I'm stressed, I'm like, oh my God, let me just start lying down. I know that this pain will come. It will come.
Straight up.
So I just tell myself that, well, even though we are special, people fall sick too when they're tired.
Of course.
People who are not sicklers. People feel pains when they're tired, when they're not sickler. So when I start feeling these pains or start feeling tired, I don't start relating it to sickle cell. I start telling myself, well, anybody can fall sick. Maybe it's just malaria. And for the fact that I've brought my mind to the sense that I am normal, I am fine, it starts going towards that angle. Just
before we round up, I have something to say to the fellow warriors. Yeah. The mindset you take life with, or the way you see life, is the way life would see you.
Exactly.
Yeah. You see how the laws of karma is. You do something bad to somebody, something bad will happen to you at some point. If you do good, you receive good. My 26 years on this earth, you find out that what you do is garbage in, garbage out. If you say, I am sick, you are sick, definitely. If you say you're a warrior, you're a warrior. You
have to live like a warrior.
Literally. I look perfectly normal because a couple of things I have been doing has been maintaining me. So a lot of other warriors who basically are bedridden. You have people with leg ulcer who are constantly on the wheelchair or constantly walking with clutches and all that. Always remember, it could have been worse. Yeah. A veteran actor, I call him Uncle Kepi, he said this to me some days back. It could have been worse. You probably could have been 6 feet under the ground, inside a box that is being eaten by termites. To the public who wants to get married to AS saying God can do it, that God... See, love. Understand this. Yeah, there is no... I'm not against religion. I'm a Catholic. I'm not against God's miracle. But do not be silly. Exactly. Do not be silly in the sense that I love this person and God will do it for us. God brought us together. God did not bring people together to... Don't test God. Exactly. He did not bring you together to become one. He probably brought you guys together to start up a business or do something else. Don't. Please, we are begging. Don't.
Yes, to the public, love is not enough.
Love is never enough. And it's not worth it.
You might say it's love at the moment, but trust me, when the crisis starts, I could be sick in the house and the entire family is sick. And then for people who are not really in love, there'll be a clash and you always be quarreling. You work today, the money goes into the hospital. You work tomorrow, the money goes for drugs. And that's going to drive you crazy if you're really not in love. So please, let's know this. If you know your ears, cut it short.
Wow. Warriors indeed they are. I hope you can get a better feel of that concept, warrior, because what they're fighting is actually a battle. You know, hearing Michael, hearing Sussan, and the many other persons who have had to relate their stories, I hope we would have a better understanding of all that has been said and all that will be said. Thank you for always being there. Thank you for tuning in with our series on bioethics moments with PadreJoe. I encourage you all, please stay tuned, turn your notification bells, subscribe to the channel, and more importantly, please share the link.